Every era of Hollywood has its legends. The actors whose faces seemed carved for the screen, whose presence turned films into timeless classics. Robert Redford was one of those rare figures, blonde, sunlit, impossibly handsome. He looked like the very definition of the American dream. But behind that flawless image lived a man who baffled even those closest to him. Women adored him, men admired him, and the industry crowned him a golden boy. Yet Redford remained curiously distant, like a star you could see but never touch. One woman, Barbra Streisand, tried harder than anyone to close that distance. Her pursuit of him became the stuff of Hollywood whispers, part love story, part tragedy, and part obsession. And her struggle reveals the truth about Robert Redford, a man both deeply desired and profoundly unreachable. This is the hidden story of Robert Redford, the charm, the heartbreak, and the walls no one could ever break. And if you enjoy uncovering the untold side of Hollywood's brightest icons, don't forget to like this video and subscribe for more stories that go beyond the spotlight. For Barbra Streisand, Robert Redford was more than a colleague or a co-star. He was an obsession. From the first time she saw him on screen, Streisand was captivated by what she called his irresistible blend of beauty and mystery. To her, he seemed like the one man who matched her ambition, her fire, and her passion for life. But Redford's distance only deepened her fascination. She pursued him with a persistence that both amused and unsettled those around her. Friends recall how she showered him with extravagant gifts and letters, convinced that she could break through his armor. She once confessed, half in jest and half in desperation, that she wanted to be the woman who could finally conquer Robert Redford. Hollywood, however, is filled with cruel ironies. Redford admired Streisand's talent, her voice, her intensity, her drive, yet he kept her at arm's length, never allowing her into the inner sanctum he guarded so fiercely. For Streisand, this rejection was unbearable. In moments of vulnerability, she admitted that no man had ever intrigued or eluded her quite like Robert Redford. Her pursuit wasn't just about romance. It became a fixation, a symbol of something unattainable. And the more he resisted, the more she longed for him, until it was less about Redford himself and more about what he represented, the ultimate prize in a town built on illusions. Robert Redford's allure wasn't only in his looks, it was in his distance. Those who worked with him often said he carried a kind of invisible barrier, a wall that no charm or persistence could break. He kept his emotions under tight control, rarely letting anyone glimpse what lay beneath. Even in moments of intimacy, Redford had a way of pulling back, of keeping just enough space to remind others that he could never truly belong to them. This restraint wasn't arrogance, it was survival. Hollywood demanded access, but Redford refused to let the machine own him. To colleagues and friends, it was frustrating. To women like Streisand, it was devastating. The more he withheld, the more he seemed to fascinate. Redford's wall became his greatest mystery, and in a town built on exposure, mystery was the most dangerous currency of all. Hollywood abhors a vacuum. When a star as magnetic as Robert Redford kept so much of himself hidden, the gossip machine filled the silence. Whispers spread that his bond with Paul Newman went deeper than friendship.
Their on-screen chemistry in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid only fueled the rumors, with some insisting the connection was too real to be entirely fictional. Others speculated that Redford's coolness toward women hinted at secrets he would never confess. These stories, of course, were never proven, but in Hollywood, rumor can be more powerful than truth. And for Robert Redford, that air of uncertainty only made him more intriguing. An untouchable figure who could be anything the public imagined, but nothing they could truly know. By the 1970s, Robert Redford was Hollywood's flawless poster boy. Magazine covers praised his golden looks, directors called him their dream actor, and studios banked on his name to guarantee success. But the image came at a cost. Redford crafted himself into a symbol, disciplined, reliable, untarnished. Behind that mask, though, was a man suffocating under expectation. The industry wanted a perfect star, not a flawed human being. At home, life was far from perfect. The loss of his infant son in the early years haunted him for decades. Redford buried the grief beneath work, rarely speaking of it. But those who knew him well said it left him guarded, unwilling to let others too close. Hollywood saw a golden god. Redford lived as a man carrying pain he refused to share. Time eventually did what no co-star, no admirer, no rumor could: bring Robert Redford to his knees. The man once seen as untouchable began to show the fragility he had fought so long to conceal. His health declined, his body grew frail, and the myth of the Golden Boy started to fade. Friends noticed the change, but few ever dared speak of it. Redford, proud as ever, refused pity. One encounter left a lasting mark: Barbra Streisand's final meeting with him. After years of fascination, distance, and longing, she found herself face to face with a man transformed by age and struggle. The figure who had once seemed unreachable now stood before her as vulnerable, human, and quietly diminished. For Streisand, it was a painful reminder that even legends cannot escape time's grasp. Even as his strength waned, Robert Redford's influence never disappeared. Through the Sundance Film Festival, he gave a platform to new voices, shaping the future of cinema in ways that went far beyond his own stardom. When his longtime friend, Paul Newman, passed, Redford paid tribute with words that revealed the rare cracks in his guarded soul. He called Newman a brother, a partner, and a man who shared the same fight against Hollywood's illusions. It was one of the few times Redford allowed the world to see his grief unmasked. In the end, he remained an enigma, admired, desired, and endlessly speculated about. To some, he was the last true movie star. To others, a man who hid too much to ever be fully known. Perhaps both are true. What endures is the paradox. Robert Redford, the golden god of Hollywood, who shone so brightly on screen while keeping his heart in shadow. And if you want to keep exploring the hidden lives and untold stories of Hollywood's greatest legends, make sure you subscribe to the channel and give this video a like. It helps us bring more of these rare stories to light.